Writing is a topic that so many people like to make videos on.
Oh my gosh, all the time.
But for good reason, right?
Totally. People swear by it. Like, it's probably the most life-changing habit.
Well, we want to join the conversation too.
Yes, let's talk about writing and how it fits into being the good kind of lost. It's the good kind of.
The good kind of.
Good kind of.
The good kind of.
The good kind of.
It's the Good Kind of Lost podcast. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Manon. And yes, we're talking about writing. I think it's always a good reminder about how important it is.
Totally. Let's jump right in with our first question. What kind of writing do you like? Do you like poems, lyrics, fiction, practical writing, journaling, or something else?
So I have a long history with writing and all these different kinds of writing. Growing up, I used to write a lot of poems and songs. I still have a large collection. I don't think I've ever shared them with you because some of them are so immature, but I have a lot of poems and songs. Some of them I really like. I think they were God inspired, honestly. I feel like they were much better than my age. And I used to write a lot growing up, mostly poems and songs. And I think in my teenage years, I started this book idea, and I wrote a lot of it.
Really?
But I was feeling, I wrote a lot of it somewhere on my computer, and I started getting too grandiose with my ideas, and I just couldn't pull off some of the things I wanted to do in the story, and I kind of gave up on it. But that was in my teenage years. I haven't done that in so long. I haven't written a poem in a long time. I think the last time I wrote a poem was the last few poems I've written. Let me backtrack. After not writing for most of the years, I started writing a little bit when I was streaming on Twitch, to go with my artwork, because I saw some other artists that were doing it, and I was like, oh, that's super cool, I want to try. So I wrote little poems that went along with my art.
Were you writing on stream with people?
No. I wrote it by myself, and I was always very scared to share it with anybody because my whole life poems have been very personal to me, and I feel like it's like art I've gotten more used to showing off on stream, but writing feels very personal. I feel very judged.
I get that. Yeah.
So yeah, but I really like writing, and I do wish I could share it. I wish I was more confident to share it. I think I shared one or two of those on stream, but for the most part I just kept them as this piece goes with this art, this piece goes with this art. And the last few poems I wrote in my life are kind of cringe.
Oh.
It's the last few crushes I've had in my life.
Oh.
So every time I had a crush,
Oh.
and I was I always knew I was gonna get over it because I never have a crush for very long. Every time I had a crush, I would write a poem about the person, and the crush would eventually go away. So I'd be like, oh, I need to hurry and write this poem before the crush goes away.
Oh no. Oh. So you're romantic.
So yeah, that's the last. I don't know. I think it's just fun. I actually, what I like about it is having that as a marker in my history of my life. I had a crush on this person once. I'll give you one really silly one. I had a crush on Dan Ko on YouTube.
Really?
You probably don't know him.
That.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I had a crush on Dan Ko, and it was so stupid. I was so aware of how stupid this crush is. Why do I have a crush on this person I don't know? But because it was so funny to me, I was I have to write about this. I have to record this in my history. So I wrote how I felt in my little poem about Dan Ko, and I put DK at the bottom to
so cute.
be a little secret. It's about DK. And I got over that crush. I don't feel that way about him anymore. But that's the latest, I would say, fun writing I've done. Apart from that, I do write reflections, which we've talked about a lot, just in our own conversation time. I write a lot of reflections. I like to write on Sundays just because I've put myself into a habit of not thinking about work on Sundays. So then my mind relaxes and I feel more free to write. I've been slacking lately, but that's probably my most consistent type of writing is reflections. Okay, I've spoken in a long time. I would like to know.
No, I just wanted to say
about
something
you.
else about. I
Oh.
think you told me something like you wrote poems at some point in Chinese.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
I
I wrote,
remember that.
I think I wrote a part of a song. It was supposed to be like for a song, but it was basically just a poem. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You're
I think
right.
it's a good way to practice another language, but we'll touch on that after if you want. So, for me, it's pretty much the same. I think I've tried many different types of writing before finding my favorite thing to write on. Just like you, like I remember when I was a kid, I was writing poems to my crushes as well, but it was like 7 or 8, and I don't know why, like boys don't like that. I think they just don't like that.
No.
Poems, it's too much for them, I don't know. But I thought it was the most beautiful thing to do when you're just in love with someone. So anyway, so I started with that, and then in high school, I like my specialization was film and audiovisual studies. So I wrote a lot of scripts. I had to write many fiction stories, and it was really fun. I really liked it, and I'd like to try it more, like to do it more a little bit. I lost like the habit to do it, and yeah. And more recently, I worked as a travel writer for a travel agency, for the people who don't know, and my job was to write articles every day from morning to from 9 to 5 basically. And so I did like, it was like a form of content, informational content, I think, let's say it like that. But now it's just like just reflections and journaling. I wanted to say, like, I truly admire people who are able to write lyrics, because I feel like it's so hard. Like for a long time when I was a kid, I tried to write lyrics because I wanted to be a singer, a famous singer, when I was 8, 9, something like that. But they usually ended up like sounding suspiciously similar to songs that already existed at the time. So like it's mine, but yeah, that's my story of writing.
Actually, that last thing reminds me of it actually happened to my cousin, because I was very prolific when it came to writing songs. I wrote songs like almost every day, like, you know, short silly songs and longer songs that took me a while to write. And my cousins got inspired and they wanted to write songs too, and my cousin wrote a song and shared it with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is such an amazing song. It turned out to be a song that already existed.
No.
But I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know the song, so I thought she was the one who wrote it. But it just made me think of that. Like, she's trying to write music too, but because she maybe didn't do it much.
Yeah.
She just kind of wrote what she already knew, you know?
Did she change
some words? It was really cute.
Did you change some
I think
words?
so. I think so, yeah. I have a vague recollection of it. It's something about sunshine. It's like a 90s song that it was based off. But it had like the exact tune with slightly different lyrics. It was something like that.
Yeah.
But I remember like learning later on. I think she told me. I eventually she was like, actually, this is like a song that actually already exists. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the song.
Maybe
so
she was just
it
inspired.
impressed me.
She was just inspired when she wanted to write,
Yeah.
and she was like, oh, that sounds great.
Yeah. But actually, it's a thing, though. It's a thing that people do. Like, I think I've seen jokes about it on YouTube, where, you know, you're trying to write a song, but you just keep writing songs that already exist. It was a guy, I think Daniel Thrasher made, I don't know if you know him, he's a comedian, and he makes like comedy videos, and he's like a pianist. He's very good. So he makes like little skits about him and his piano teacher, and his piano teacher says, write me a song, and he writes the song because he's a genius, but it's a song that already exists, and he does that for the whole video. But I think it's because it's a real like thing that people do. Like, they get inspired, but they maybe are not like practiced in creating their own, you know, I don't know, tunes and lyrics. So they just kind of pull on what they already know without realizing they're just rewriting something that exists.
Yeah, I think it's unconscious. don't really realize
Yeah, I
it.
think so.
Mhm.
I don't think they're plagiarizing. They're not trying to do that. All right, I think we had fun with that question. Let's move on.
Yep.
Let's see. Next question. When do you feel the strongest urge to write?
I would say I write every day, I think. At some point in the day, I always find something to write on, a thought that I don't want to lose. Whenever I feel something deep, I think this is where when I feel the most, like the need to write, when I feel like something like gratitude it can be, or sadness, of course, or if I need a dream, because I dream a lot through my writings. And also when I have an important decision to make, it helps me a lot to clear my mind and to know what I can do. So I always have like a notebook with me, just in case of like if the urge to write happen, you know. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I'm very similar to that. I really like that. First of all, like, I wish I did that. I think I started trying to do that, where I carry a little book around. There's a word for it, I think it's called a common book or something like that, where you have a book that you carry around, a little book, so that you can just jot down your thoughts. I wish I had that habit, because I right now with school, I don't really have time to think about anything, but I used to like have a lot of like interesting thoughts hit me. And when they would hit me most is when I was driving, and that's when I'd always want to write something and like, and I looked for solutions of like, you know, something that I could like voice activated voice recording. I haven't found anything. Now with the age of AI, maybe I could make it myself. But I would have the deepest urge to write similarly to you when I had very deep thoughts that I needed to untangle. So most of the time I just think about things. I don't have as prolific a writing habit anymore like you. I've been trying to develop it more. I'm better like this last year and last year. I still have, you know, dreams to be better, more like write more still and more consistently. Because when I was writing, I did feel like you're saying, you know, helping you to clear your thoughts and help you make decisions. I've made a lot of important decisions through my writing, especially when I was struggling with an emotion and I didn't know what to do or feel about something, and I just wrote about it and just wrote how I felt in the moment, and then wrote why do I feel this way and kind of dig into it, and then I usually come out on the other end with like a lot of clarity and like knowing what to do. So I feel like it's really important, and I want to do it more for those reasons. And I also want to develop that habit of like you, like walking around with a book and jotting things down.
But maybe I have
that's
sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe I have this habit because I live alone too. So whenever I have like something I want to share with someone, or whenever I have like a
Just
thought
not
or something
anymore.
I like to discuss about it, and I don't have my family or my friends around, I
Yeah.
just have my notebooks. So this is
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's the difference.
That could be it.
setup.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I because I am a Christian, so like I tend to turn to God when I have something I need to talk about. So I don't go straight to go write it, which I think if I didn't have God to talk to, I'd probably be the same. I'd probably like have to write everything. But I have developed the habit where I just talk to myself. I talk to God. I'm like, Lord, this is how I feel. And pace around the room or something. But yeah.
But like you said,
That-
just writing down things helps a lot, like to find
So
clarity.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of just thinking alone or talking, even it's different.
Yeah. And if I would say a particular day that I feel the urge, is definitely Sundays. When I was not as super busy as I'm right now, I would feel it more throughout the week, like occasionally like, oh, I really want to write about this, and I'll sit down and write. But when I'm busy, I don't really have those urges. It's usually like when I'm super unbothered, so that my brain can explore what needs to be dealt with,
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, as it's always like a set appointment, kinda, do you always have like something to write on? do you feel always inspired, or is it just
No.
like, no? Okay.
But I made this habit. So back in, let's see, 2021 or no, yeah, 2021, I believe it was, or 2022. I got on a Dan Ko high. It was around then I had the crush on Dan Ko, and I was in this mastermind group, and I was trying to grow myself on Twitter. And in order to grow on Twitter, you have to post every day. And I had to learn that I had to just write, even if I didn't feel inspired. So I kind of started to develop the habit of just like sit and write. And it didn't always work. Like, I didn't always feel like I could do it. But I found the more I did it, the more I practiced, is the easier it got to just like sit and make myself write. And then ideas eventually start to flow. So it's like you can get yourself into the flow, even if you don't start inspired. So I've found that because of that, I can make appointments with myself and say I'm going to sit and write. But it still takes discipline. Like, if I don't feel like writing, it's easy for me to say, never mind. But if I'm like disciplined, yeah, if I'm disciplined, like if I can just say, this is what I want to do, I must do this, like set an intention, then I can do it. I can, I remember, I think last Sunday, I was like, I'm going to sit and write. And I didn't know what I was going to write about, but I wrote something, and I ended up writing a lot after a while. Yeah. So I just started with, like, what's on my mind? I just think, okay, what's the last thing that was, bothering me a little bit? And then I just write whatever, even if I already had a solution for it, I just write about it, and then something else jumps out of it, and I keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, when you have like a regular time in your week when you must, quote unquote, write, it's actually the best way to find ideas that you wouldn't have found if it was just like me. Just I feel something, I need to write it on, but sometimes I don't reflect on other things that I could. So
yeah. When you feel like you have nothing is when you might find secret little things.
Yes. Yeah. Totally. That being said, what does writing do for you? What do you feel like you accomplish in life or in yourself?
I think the best thing I get out of it is clarity, and untangling thoughts. Because something that kind of was an epiphany to me is, at one point in my life, I realized that we often have beliefs at the top of our thought stack that are entangled with other things, but has no real foundation. And that you have this thought and belief, and for instance, you believe, oh, I can't do XYZ, and you've never challenged it, but it bothers you, and it stops you. It's an obstacle in your life. But when you sit and decide, I'm gonna think through this thought and really figure out why I feel this way and where it's coming from, sometimes I find that it was based on something so insignificant or something so stupid. And you only find that when you take the time to untangle all those connections in your mind and trace the thread, is how I think of it. It's like there's a cord from this thought that goes through, and you trace it down to the root.
Yeah.
And then you can find either it's not connected to anything, or it's connected to something stupid, or it's connected to something really important. And you have to dig into it. Maybe it's trauma, it could be anything, but you don't know just because it's like there's a big knot.
You're right.
Between it and the source. Yeah. And I find writing and even thinking out loud helps with this too, like talking out loud. That's why therapy I think is useful. But I think writing is like the most approachable for most people. Like it's a form of therapy for yourself, I think.
Yeah, totally.
So that's what it does for me, is untangling my thoughts and bringing clarity for me. What about you?
I have many things I could talk about, like when it comes to the benefits of writing, but just like you said, just clarity, because I feel like when we write down some things, it's like time just slows down a little bit, and you can't write as fast as you have thoughts in your mind. Yeah. So it helps like to just slow down and to find clarity, and like you said, you can find many other things that were attached to your previous thoughts thoughts.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's one of the most important things. I wrote down some things not to forget. In the benefits that I found is also like it helps me to remember the past because I have such a bad memory and I can't just remember everything, all the details that happen, because sometimes I just think of a problem that is happening in my life, but sometimes it's just like to remember a day, or when I go on a trip or something, I like to write down things. So yeah, and I think we're a lot to romanticize some parts of our life, and when we read something that we had like written in a long time ago, it's like, oh, okay, no, actually it wasn't that perfect, you know, you can't remember actually all the struggles you had at this time. So it helps me to stay grounded and not to always see the past as it was better before, you know. And I wrote down something that I wanted to share with you guys. There was a study for that. They said instead of replaying a memory exactly as it happened, our brains rebuilds it every time we recall it, depending on our current emotions, beliefs, and the way we told the story before, which means our memories can gradually change over time. So so writing, everything is a powerful tool to keep things just as they were
locked in.
Yeah, exactly. Then of course with the modern life, we have like notifications, messages disappear all the time, and also the picture we post, some of them can stay, but otherwise it's just on clouds, and so you can lose everything. So it's just like a little, how can I say that? A little a little memory that you can cherish and having all the time with you in a notebook.
Like a capsule.
Yeah, capsule.
It's a little capsule.
Yeah, this is a little capsule of time that we can find back.
Yeah.
And one more thing is legacy, because I like to imagine future generations. I don't have kids, and I don't know if I have kids one day, but just people in the future, if they found my notebook, my notebooks, because there are like multiple notebooks I can show you. But just to find what it was like to live in the early 2000s. So maybe they could be useful for someone, or for research, or
seeing through the eyes of a girl off in France.
In France.
Of the world. I wanted to comment on that one about remembering the past, because this is something that I don't do a lot with my writing. I don't go back and reread too much. Yeah, sometimes I do, like, just on a whim, but most of the time I just go forward. I plow forward. But I found this, what you said, where when you reread it, it's like I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that that's how I felt. I totally forgot. It's like looking into someone else's life. Yeah. You know? Exactly. And it's because of what you said, like the scientific study, and I've heard about that too. Your brain remakes your memories the more you think of them. So every time you think it, you think it differently. Yeah. Over and over. And you think, oh my gosh, this is accurate because I've remembered it for 20 years. No, it's like 20 years a difference from what actually happened. Yeah. And you think, oh no, I'm sure, but no, unfortunately that's not the case. And I like that idea. I really like that idea of, like, it's a time capsule and it's locked in time because it's in writing, and you don't have to rely on your memory that is going to change it. You can go back and relive it the way it was. It may still be relived differently based on your emotional state. Like, you might still interpret things differently because writing is not like a perfect medium for transferring thought. But I still think it's more stable than our memories, so it's better. Yeah. And it inspires me because I think you're right, because the few times that I have reread, I've always enjoyed it, and so it inspires me to do more rereading. Like, maybe before, in fact, that could be a way to inspire ourselves, like, to write, like, before a writing session that you're disciplining yourself to do, just like reread, like skip to a random page and reread something, you know, and then see what comes out of it.
You're right. Yeah. And I can think of my grandma who is bedridden right now. She's been bedridden like 4 years, and she has her TV or activities, but just I told myself if she had written some parts of her life, maybe she could have like read it again.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely good for that too. I like it. Okay, well, let's jump to the next question then. What kind of person do you think you would be if you didn't write as much as you do?
I'm not sure if it truly defines the person I am. That's a really good question. I feel like my imagination would be less developed because I dream a lot when I write. And of course, my mind would be less clear. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It would be entangled all the time. But yeah, I think I should say I wouldn't notice all the beautiful things I leave, because sometimes, for example, I can think of when I'm on a trip, I just live things in a moment and they can start to feel normal, you know? But when I sit down and take the time to reflect and to write everything down, I'm like, wow, you did this thing, you met that person, you saw that. And so I think I probably miss a lot of that appreciation. So for me, writing is like a tool of joy. And honestly, it's just my mind would be a war zone if I couldn't write. And I would be even more lost. I think the good kind of lost.
I don't know if you'd be the good kind. I think you might be the bad kind. I agree with you. I agree. I feel the same. Where I would be very lost in my head. That's what I wrote, and unaware of myself, and often confused. The confusion, of course, is the lack of clarity, right? I really think the reflection habits I had developed the last few years really have made a difference in my growth as a person. And being able to face challenges and to think through how to face challenges. Like, I think I developed this thing that I want to make a website out of. I call it the cabinet. And it's like, I think of it as like word medication. So when you have an emotional issue, what is the medication that you need to take? So it's like, it's written, but it's like different things you can do, or different ways of thinking, or different ways of praying based on the emotions. So if you feel hopeless, or if you feel sad for no reason, or if you feel sad because you know the reason, or like how to face each of those things. And I started to collect them because I was going through these emotions regularly.
Brilliant.
And I started to collect my little medications, and I wanted to make a little, cute website out of it, but I don't have a vision of what I want it to look like yet, so I've never done it. But one of the things on there is like, for a solution for many of them is writing, but how you approach the writing is different, based on the thing you're feeling. And that came out of just becoming more aware of myself and realizing that I was experiencing an emotion that I'm not dealing with. And I think awareness is one of the, is so important, like as a human being, and in terms of growth and like maturity, because I remember like living in La La Land most of my teenage years, like up into my 20s. And I don't even know how to explain it to anyone, and I'm sure people have felt this. But when I think about myself now and how I think about the world versus then, like I feel like I was just floating through the world. Like I wasn't sad and I wasn't depressed. I was happy, but I was so unaware of anything around me. And my mom would always say, "Why are you so unobservant? You're so unobservant." Because I would just do things and I wouldn't think about it, or I wasn't doing bad things. I was just like, I wasn't considering my situation, my surroundings, the results of things and things like that. I was just living in the moment.
So how did you become so aware?
I don't know, actually, Manon. I don't know. I just remember one day, I just remember my eyes were open one day and I could see the world. And I just remember the day before I wasn't.
Wow.
I just remember that. And I just remember like all of a sudden I was aware of being aware.
Just like an epiphany.
And I was, yeah. And as I've said this before in other conversations. I don't remember if it was with you. But there's good and bad about being aware. And you have to kind of, it's like a freedom that you have to be careful with. It's like learning to fly, knowing how to fly,
Yeah.
and knowing where to jump and where not to jump,
Yeah.
you know, based on how you fly. But you also, when you become aware, you have the risk of becoming pessimistic about the world.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can, and that I fell into that for a while. And I'm going off on a tangent, but like basically the awareness is one of the things that I think is a big thing that developed from writing. And I think also it came out before writing started to grow, but like the writing really accelerated it.
Yeah.
And I think you can gain awareness from other things, like just things people say to you that just trigger the right thing in you, speaking to yourself, you know, therapy, things like that. There are other things that can trigger awareness too. I just think writing is like one of the big ones, and it's like an accelerant. It's
And
like
one of the easiest
steroids.
as well.
And the easiest.
You just need a piece of paper, a pen, and can go.
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to therapy, where you have to spend money and things like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you think writing is for a type of person or for everyone?
So I actually do think it's for everyone. It's kind of like reading. You know, people say, "Oh, I'm not a reader. I'm not a reader." I think you can still be a reader without reading 100 books a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are different levels.
Yeah.
There are different
Of
levels
readers.
of reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like between you and me. Like we're both writers, but you write way more than me. Like you carry books around. You write about your travels. Like you have a lot of a more developed writing skill. But like it doesn't mean I am not a writer.
Yeah,
It just
right.
means I am like a different level
Yeah.
of a writer. Yeah, and I think everyone can benefit. And I think everyone can learn how to do it. It's just like reading. Writing is a skill. And learning to pull out of your head is a skill. And you just have to be determined that you want to get the benefits from it. Be inspired that you'll be benefited by it too, and motivated. But I don't think there's I think there's a type of person that can write books. And there's a type of person that can, you know, fill 30 notebooks in a year. But like, there's no type of person that can be a writer.
Yeah.
I think everyone can do it.
That's funny. We don't
Not
have
you.
the same opinion on that.
You disagree?
Yeah, but like your yes is nuanced. So it's like I can
Yes,
yeah, I do think the same things, but I thought it wasn't for everyone. Just like painting or playing an instrument isn't for everyone, you know. So we all have different ways of processing our emotions to express ourselves and also our ideas. For some people, it's writing, just like you and me. But for others, it's like exercising or cooking or creating something with their hands. So I think there isn't just one way. The best is just to try it. I think everyone can benefit from trying at least once to sit down, to just take a notebook and to see if something just comes up. But yeah, you don't always know how you'll feel about writing until you actually try it, right? So maybe it can be like an epiphany, a revelation for you when you start writing. But I know you don't force it if you don't like it, because people say you can write, and for some people it's just like a torture to write, and some people don't like to reflect as well. I think we're like that. We love to reflect on things and to think deeply. But some people are just like, they want to move and to
go.
Yeah, go. We don't have time for that, you know. So it depends on the person.
Yeah, I honestly I see where you're coming from, and I think we're thinking around around the sphere in a different way, because like when it comes to what you're saying, I agree, but I still think when it comes to the skill of writing, I think everyone can still do it, because it's not like you're trying to be. It's like if you think about painting, for instance. If we're going to say everyone should paint, I would disagree, right? Everyone doesn't need to paint. But everyone could benefit from painting, and everyone can paint. You can paint abstract. You can paint your emotions. You can just throw colors. What is painting? What is writing? You know, the definition of the thing is what holds people back. They think, oh, I must write an entire paragraph on the page, or it is not writing. No, you can write a sentence. You can write one little poetic sentence, or you can write gobbledygook sentence that's just like a bunch of words of your emotions. Like, writing is defined by you, just like art. But the benefits of writing, I think, can go to everyone, and even that person that is the go person who doesn't like to do reflections. He can still benefit from doing reflections, because reflections are good for you, right? Just because he doesn't like it doesn't mean it won't benefit him, and it doesn't mean he can't do it.
You're right.
So that's the difference. So I think, the personality will play into whether they want to and whether they'll try, but whether they can and whether it's beneficial. I think you see what I'm saying? I think we're talking on two different sides of the conversation.
I agree with what you said. Yeah. It's just like, if whether they would enjoy it, the process, I don't think it's for everyone in this way. I think everyone can try it and can benefit from it, like you said, but just maybe not enjoying it. I can just think of, for example, on YouTube, we see a lot of videos of people saying, hey, every morning you should have like a morning routine. You should meditate
and it's not.
For 10 minutes. You should run for like an hour. And I tried it. I like... The feeling of it, you're just like, why it doesn't work for me? So I'm like, maybe some people are being said, just try to write, and they don't like it. So I'm like, feeling guilty about something that everyone is saying is amazing, but in the end, you can do it for yourself.
Good point.
But we agree on the same thing.
Yeah, we're on the same line.
Yeah.
Okay. Before, I do have a surprise question for you, a little playful question. But before we do that, we can do our last take.
Yep.
So, my last take, I'll go first. My last take is, I really, even if you don't think you're a writer, I still want to say, give it a try. Because, and give it a solid try. Don't just try once. I think trying once is not enough. You need to give it a solid try, like a week or 3 days even, of like, I'm going to write. And then look for how to do it too, because sometimes you go into it and you just sit and stare at a page and you don't know what to do. Like, do a little research. You can watch a video. I would say my suggestion for writing is like, just write what's most on your mind right now. What's the thing that's bugging you? Like, for me, it might be like school, and it feels like mundane, but like I'll just write a little bit about it and then see how you feel, and just do that for a couple days. And don't like have to write for an hour. Just like 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And give it a solid try for at least a couple of days. And then if you like it, then you can keep going. And if you feel like, no, I can't get into this, or I just don't have time, or whatever, then you tried it. Yeah. But I would always recommend for everyone to try. So that's my last take.
I just add to the thing you said, that maybe just find your own way. It can be journaling, because we're talking about that principally, but it can also be like poems or lyrics or something more artistic, All
right, ready for your surprise question?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Okay. No, it's a good one. I think you'll like it. The surprise question is, who is a singer and songwriter whose writing stirs you up and moves you? I think I know an answer for you, but I'm curious what you think.
Let me think.
I'm sure you have many.
I have many, that's the problem. If I had to choose just one.
You can pick one and say why this one is in your list.
Okay. I think I would choose, and I'm sure you won't be surprised, I would choose Lady Gaga.
Of course.
Did you know that?
Of course. I knew she was on the list.
You guessed that. Because she's been through many different hard things in her life. She can put words on things that everybody feels, but in a way that nobody can write as she does. So I would say her, but I have many different artists that I could talk about.
I'll answer too. Mine is surprising because even though I don't jive with all her music, I do like have a respect for Billie Eilish. After seeing her documentary and seeing what her aim is, like trying to write the feelings of people, I kind of understand why her music is all over the place and why she writes such crazy things sometimes, because I think she's trying to tap into the emotions of her fans.
Yeah.
And I think it's really like something that is honorable and I think she does a good job with it too. Like I remember there's a couple of her songs that are just like, they feel like they're touching fire,
yeah, right,
with
yeah.
how accurate she is with
Yeah.
the emotion, and I think it's a gift
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
So I can't agree with everything she sings because like that documentary had some really interesting songs.
I know.
but I'm very impressed with her, and I think she has a real gift. And yeah.
I'd like to talk about music with you in an episode one day.
In an episode.
Really nice. That was a fun chat. A lot of good things to think of.
Yeah, and I feel like I could do some writing right now. How about you guys?
And why not start with writing a comment on this video?
And leave a like and subscribe while you're down there if you want.
But as always, if you're gonna be lost, let's be
The good kind of lost. Bye.
Bye.